Welcome to Ready Set RC, and today we got the Yikong Trailbreaker 7, and this is a 1/7 scale. This is a independent front suspension, and then we have a solid rear axle. Desert Buggy. This is also known as the TB7, and I'm gonna reference it in that way for the remainder of this video. And the TB7 is not the first version of this truck from Yikong. Yikong also had the DF7 and the DF7 V2, and those were more like a trophy truck style body versus this desert truck that we're seeing in front of us today. I saw this on AliExpress, purchased this maybe about a month and a half ago, and finally got it in. How you're seeing it here today, guys, it does not come like this. There are no decals on the body. You have to fix, I would say, at least a good 75% of the decals yourself. You get this huge sticker sheet to go ahead and apply them, and I have applied them onto the RC prior to the video today. And let's talk really quickly what you get in the box. They give you some instructions on how to apply those decals to the buggy. You also get an instruction manual, comes with some troubleshooting tips, instructions on the controller, 3D renderings of the truck, and some tips on how to do your shock oil and differential oils too. And in the back, there are some part listings for the buggy. And then they give you some servo horns, some plastic bits, some rod ends, a tie rod. I mean, they give you some minimal extra pieces with it. And here you have some Allen wrenches, the T-wrench, and also a wheel wrench in this bag. And then here we have the Yikong controller. This is more of a Dumbo RC controller. As of late, a lot of the companies have been pushing this one out. Feels really good in the hands. I've never had an issue with these controllers. A 5-channel controller, 1 for the steering, 2 for the throttle, channel 3, channel 4, and then channel 5 down on the control panel. There's steering trim, throttle trim, steering dual rate, throttle dual rate, and then some dip switches. I'm gonna have to look and see what these are, but quite a bit of controls. And then you have the power switch right here at the back. Takes 4 AA's down below. But this is what you guys came to see. This thing looks amazing, guys. I don't care what anyone says. This to me has to be the best looking desert racer on the market. The one thing I wanted to talk about with this truck, and this is something that I'd wish a lot of the other companies would start adopting. You have body pins tethered up here. Hopefully you guys are able to see that, but there's also body pins down below. So there's 2 down below, 2 at the top. And the reason why I'm talking about the body pins is because this is how you lift up the body. And then the whole truck is exposed to you. The lighting is still tethered. So you have lights in the front here on the bumper. And then again, up here on the shell. You guys, this body, if you guys are familiar with it, it's an unlicensed version of the Fun Haver. A very popular Ford Bronco desert truck. If you guys Google it, you'll see what the 1-to-1 version looks like. But it's a very popular design, popular livery. A lot of companies have tried to kind of mimic it a little bit, and I think Yikong kind of pulled it off, even though this is not a licensed version of the truck. But we have a driver in the truck. We also have a navigator in the truck. I mean, guys, a spare tire on the back. As I mentioned earlier, these tires are mounted on 17mm hexes, but there is a stub axle. So it's very similar to what we see on the UDR, is that it has a stub axle that comes out, and then you have a 17mm hex behind it. And it has a disc brake that is mounted on the back side of it. These tires, they feel pretty firm. They do remind me of the tires on my DR8, and that would be the FTX DR8. It has a very firm tread, and then the sidewalls are not I wouldn't call them soft, but they are softer. I don't see these ballooning. I'll have to see how these hook up in the areas I like to run, but they feel pretty good, guys. I like those tires that came on the DR8, just not where I like to run my RCs. This truck has a complete roll cage underneath, and that's what's holding on the shell to the buggy. It's not on a hinge or anything to keep the truck from opening up. As I mentioned, there's 2 body pins down here below, and that's how the lower half of the truck is mounted through. If you wanted to get the body off the truck, there are sway bars and there are limiter straps you would need to remove to get the body to be removed completely off the truck. And also, of course, disengage the lights for it as well. So looking at this truck from front to back, you have a nice firm bumper with support. And I mean, that's pretty rigid going on in the front. We do have a composite shock tower. I probably would have liked to have seen that being metal, but I'm not gonna bash this thing like a monster truck. It's not built for that. This is a desert racer. And I'm gonna be driving that in similar fashion. If I take it off the ramps, if I do take this thing off the ramps, I'm not looking to really launch this thing or taking it up too high at all.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
The dual shocks going on in the front, and there are, these look like some form of progressive shocks, and they are aluminum shocks with aluminum shock caps, screw down adjustments. Both of the shocks are oil filled. CVD type drive shafts up in the front. Let me give you guys a little bit of measurements here too. So the lower suspension arms are coming in about 12 millimeters for the lower suspension arms. For those tie rods that I know a lot of people are going to be saying that they look a little thin, let's see what those look like. The tie rods are 4 millimeters, and the drive shafts, let's see if I can get a good angle on the drive shafts to get a measurement on that. The drive shafts are also coming at 4 millimeters. So we got some girth here, guys. 3 millimeter metal upper chassis brace. And then the lower chassis is also 3 millimeters thick. There are about 3 cross bracing bars going on the back side of this, and they are about 6 millimeters thick. I don't think that these are solid though. These look like they could be hollow. In the front, it looks like I missed that. It has a sway bar also in the front. Also in the front, we have camber adjustments. Mod 1 gears throughout. There's a drive shaft that goes from the front differential to the center differential. And as I mentioned, the center differential is in a CNC aluminum case. That drive shaft going from the front differential to the center differential is about 4 millimeters thick. And then the second one going, which is a lot longer, that goes from the center differential to the rear differential is also 4 millimeters thick. There is a boot that covers the back of the rear drive shaft. The upper links on this truck are about 6 millimeters thick. We have nice beefy trailing arms that come back, and then we have the same 2-shock system in the rear, and these are the same shock bodies that there are in the front, which is also screw down adjustable. Sway bar going on in the rear, as I mentioned earlier, and then we have the rear axle. For electronics, we're looking at like a Max 8 system in this. It's a 1600 kV motor, and then that's paired up with a 150 amp ESC. And for the servo, we're looking at a 25 kilogram servo. We'll see how that performs. I think that's going to be a little slow for this. And there is also a servo saver that is going on in the front. I don't know if I'll be able to get a good angle of that, but it's tucked in right here on the front of the truck. The power switch to the Desert Buggy is also sitting right here in the back, easily accessible. And then we have the receiver box tucked in right up there. Battery tray is a fairly good. I don't know what 6-packs you guys run. I run these Power Hobby 4000 mAh 6X packs. They're about 120C, and those will fit excellent in this. This battery tray has a good size. Right now, you guys are seeing it with the foam spacer in there, but you can easily remove that foam spacer and get a ton of more space for your batteries. For you guys that are questioning getting this and you want to know if this thing has lock differentials. I'm gonna give you guys a view of what that looks like. No lock differentials in the front. Nothing's locked. It actually maybe could be a little bit thicker in the front. I mean, maybe a little thicker in the center. We'll see how that performs. And then for the rear, it's not locked, guys. This truck has sealed differentials, so you should be able to tune the diffs as you see fit. But there we are, guys. We did an unboxing, an overview of the TB7, but we're gonna leave it here. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Check us out on Instagram and TikTok for the latest updates to the channel. This is Ready Set RC, signing out. Thanks again, guys.